Hi, this is Alex Popadich from Medora. I am also breast endocrine and general surgeon in New Zealand. I will be talking to you today how I run my paperless office from my iPad Pro. So I will talk through most of the apps that I use, but I would like if you can either comment on anything or suggest any other apps that you might have found useful or the apps that you would like me to talk more about. So the first app that I use is the RD Client, and that's the app that I do for my a connection to the MedTech program that the private hospital uses. If you do not have this exchange type system, then you might just have to go through your web browser to connect to your system for your patients. How I've organized my iPad as well is that I have my email application first down at the bottom of my ribbon in my iPad, my calendar app. This is my password app, and we'll talk more about it shortly. Windows app, PDF Expert app. This is not really for my the one with the dog is not for my paperless office, but it is one of the apps I use a lot, and it's a down dog for yoga. The next to it is GoodNotes, which is my writing or notes app that I use my Apple Pencil with. My web browser, which I use the Google web browser, my OmniFocus tasks, and Dropbox. The last three will change depending on what you've last used. So my email app that I use recently, it's called Spark. It's a free app, and as I said, and it works across your both desktop and your iPad or iOS devices. It will have all your emails into it. It works pretty much like most of other email applications. The one thing that it does do is if you write an email to someone, right in your right top corners, it will ask you when to send it. So this one is if you want a schedule to be seen later on today, this evening, tomorrow, or you pick a date. And I find this useful if you don't want to send messages after 5 or 6 o'clock, because you don't want your people or the person who you send the message to answer them after hours. Next to it is the reminders. I personally don't use this because I use it through a SaneBox. If you like more information about SaneBox, have a look at my previous video from it, and I will put it down in the show notes as well, more about that. But you can use it directly through the app. You can add people to the app or conversations to the app. Because I don't have more than one or two people in my group, I don't tend to use it as a conversation, but you can use it in conversation a bit more like Slack type of application or Asana. I have used previously the Mail app from Apple, because I run mostly on my Apple devices. With regards to mail, occasionally I do use it to organize appointments with people, but you can actually do it through the Spark or through the calendar application that comes with a Spark type email. So LastPass, I would suggest that you do use a password application. I can't remember all the passwords that I use, and so what it does is it stores your password, and it's and you can use it both on your Mac and on your iOS devices. You have to pay for it. It's around $10 or so a year, so it's not very expensive application. There is a free one as well. It's either for iOS or for your computer, but it's not going to sync things across all of your devices. But to be honest, I think it's safer than remembering passwords or saving them onto your computer possibly. Anyway, when you do set it up, so for your banks, you can set up several layers of security to it, as well as having the master password. It is very important that you remember your master password, and you can get your master password to a person to share it with, and you can book that through the app. What it does also, if you want to log into a site, you just need to click on it, the site in here and copy it. This is because it's a bank type stuff. Copy it onto the clipboard, and so then when you go to your, for example, Xero account, then you just paste it, so you don't remember the passwords. It will also randomly generate the passwords from as little as 6, I think, characters up to quite a lot of different characters, and we use numbers and characters and letters. So from my point of view, I think it's a great app. I haven't used the previous ones. Other apps like 1Password and stuff like that, so I can't talk about it. If you are going to use it and pay for it, I would recommend you log in through your web browser on your computer first and log into all these websites through your computer. It's an easier way to save it rather than manually if you go through iOS devices. But later on when you do it on the iOS, it will just log in automatically. I personally don't use Google Docs because a lot of people in hospital use Microsoft product, so I do have a monthly subscription to Word and all the other Microsoft apps that come with it. My email is run through that, so I get Outlook as well. The next application is PDF Expert. It's done by Riedel. And you can annotate or edit your PDFs, and you can get your documents through your Dropbox or connect your cloud storage stuff. So what you do is you open a document. Can't remember where my latest PDFs are. For example, that one, and then you can edit with your pen or with your fingers, anything on this template. If you want to edit, you will have, I think this costs 15 New Zealand dollars for this subscription to annotate. You can edit it as well, but you have to pay another $15 to do that on an iPad. I don't personally edit things on my iPad often. So I have bought this application on my computer, as I'm most likely edited on my computer for the few documents. But you can sign documents from this application straight away. You can upload signatures and sign it anywhere you want to, like that, and you can make it bigger or smaller if you want to, as well, from that point of view. But as I said, if you're going to go purely through your iPad, I suggest that you do buy the edit version of it. But because of all the videos I process, I can't do that as well on the iPad, so it's just a bit easier to do it on a computer for me. And I think that application costs $60. I have used previously Adobe PDF Suite. document suite. I can't remember what it's called now, but it's quite expensive. It's over $20 a month. So within 4 or 5 months, this has paid for itself. And these are not yearly subscriptions. It's for that application. GoodNotes. I like using GoodNotes. And my niece loves it. You can edit stuff like that. This is my sourdough starter document, and when I send when I share my starter or given it to people, I've changed the original recipe, so this is the addition to that, so I can easily annotate through that. I can highlight and pick a color of the highlighter. You can delete things like and erase it. You can lasso it and then change it to a typed stuff, or if you are not doing anything, just reading your PDF, you can do it that way. I tend to use Google web browser because I do a lot of things on from Google from that point of view. But if you want more security, I'd recommend Firefox, Mozilla Firefox. But I found this one a bit easier for some of the work stuff, and it wasn't very difficult to change it from Safari. Some of the things from Public Hospital would not work on a Safari at all. OmniFocus. OmniFocus is my task manager system, and where I have the tasks and divisions and stuff like that, but I use it for a small tasks or for the big project. So I might have big projects and they're divided with different folders, and you can have them like a template, and then when you, let's say, have to do a blog post, what are the steps that you have to do from that blog post, and steps to do a video, so I don't forget some of those little steps, especially when it comes to social media posting and everything. I find this really good for short and recurring tasks. For example, kombucha making, that it happens every week. If I'm a bit late, I change the date. My yoga and stuff like that from that point of view. I have tried to have one task manager system, but I just can't make it. I struggle with OmniFocus for a kind of generalized overview, and I have trialed Trello for it. I have trialed Asana for it. For Trello, I just didn't like the way that it kind of looked. It still didn't have that overview that I could figure out, but a lot of boards, unless you pay for a expensive or for a plan, and I think their plan's around $10 a month from that point of view. And since I'm paying for OmniFocus as well, I didn't find it the greatest. So what I recently use is a Notion as my kind of overview planner, and so it will have my workspace, and this is my kind of overview of the workspace. So it'll have end of the month goals, what I want to achieve by the end of the month, which videos, what are my projected morning and evening routines, so try and get into a better routine. I'm still struggling sometimes with that. What my next 5 years will look like, and then my current project. So what's my reading list like? What is the weekly agenda that I need to do for every week? What are my fitness stuff, personal branding, my notes, what I need to do. That's probably not the as well, because it's relatively new thing that I've started using, and my Medora or this business. So what I need to do, what my co-founder needs to do, then you can do your notes really, really well in this application as well, and it's very easy to do, and you can import the photos and everything else. I'm on a free plan, but there are some paid plans as well, which are personal team and Enterprise, as you can see on the screen in front of you. So the next would be the cloud storage stuff. I have trialed OneDrive box because I have Microsoft account, and it's been seen that it works really, really well. But I don't pay for these two. Well, sorry, OneDrive I do as part of my subscription, but I didn't find OneDrive that it worked that well. It didn't transfer things across all my devices, didn't update them from my computer, and I don't personally use it that much at all. Probably I should delete it off my iPad. Same with Box. I don't really use Box that much. It's been, as I said, talked about that it's better for enterprises, but as I said, I haven't used that much. Paper, I've tried using it, but it's more for tasks and stuff, and I have that. Or if you want to share things from across several people and have discussions, but I personally don't use it that much. With the Apple files, I do use it sometimes because it's easier to save a document that I want to work. For example, if I'm on a plane, because it will save it onto the files because there's no Wi-Fi access in New Zealand. I use mostly Dropbox because most people in medicine use Dropbox, and it's easy to share, and I paid for the 100 gigabyte plan, and I use it to run my office, run my paperless office. Everything goes into that, the task, all the notes, instructions, everything is on the Dropbox. And lots of video uploads, conferences, backups, everything from that point of view. When I get an email with an attachment, if I need to save that attachment, it will be saved on the Dropbox automatically and uploaded from that point of view. So personally, I think you need a cloud storage area. I haven't really used the Google Drive that much. Might start playing with it a little bit more, but as I said, I have not used it that much. Scanner Pro is a great app for scanning, and it's really easy to use, and I would recommend that you buy it. I think it's around $7 or $8 or $6, something like that. But the Scanner Pro, what I love about it is you can take the photos and it pretty much scans it. If you have several pages in a document, you just take those extra pages and an extra photo, and then it will stitch them all together and put them as one file. You can also automatically organize that the pictures or the photos or the documents are uploaded to Dropbox. And I love doing that. So once a week, I go and clear my Dropbox in tray and double check that all the documents have been moved between a Scanner Pro and a Dropbox. Anyway, so this is how I run my Office from my iPad. And if you'd like any more apps that you would like me to review or to have a look or comment on any other on apps a little bit more, please put the comments down below and I will answer them, and we'll go through those apps together. Thank you very much for watching the video today, and I will see you next week with another video.